Welcome back to the Love Inspired Leadership Podcast. This is truly a sacred space where we honor those who lead with love, courage, and deep authenticity. And today, I'm overjoyed to invite Jean Border into this circle. Jean is a gifted intuitive, healer, author, mentor, and advocate for transformation, helping business owners shed what no longer serves them, reclaim their energy, and step courageously into new reality. So if you felt the call for something more soulful in your leadership, this conversation will open that door for you today. So Jean, thank you for being here at the Love Inspired Leadership Podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to this.
Awesome. So Jean, we have met previously and we had a great connection. So my question for you is this. When did you first realize that, healing and energy work was your calling? Because I know you came from a past that was not in that situation or platform. So can you share that story?
Yeah, my past that you just alluded to was 36 years of leadership in the U.S. federal government. And if you watch the news, you see that that's not really a holistic type environment where you talk about things that make you feel good and change your energy. But I had already been exploring the energy world because I lived my life with migraines, and doctors couldn't heal me. And I was bad with migraines. I would miss 3 days of work. I would give myself shots. I would be throwing up in the dark room. I could tell when a storm was coming because of the barometric pressure changes would trigger my pain. So I knew on a sunny day that, later today we're going to have a bad storm. And everybody's like, no. I'm like, we are. And we would. So I explored energy work to help me survive that and eventually come out the other side of it. And energy work did that. Medicine didn't do that. But then I got to a point in my personal life where my father was elderly, my mother had passed away, and my father started making decisions that weren't really in his best interest. And I was living on the other side of the United States, and I knew that I needed to be there to support him. And so I left my career behind and focused more on the energy world. And that's how my personal business was created.
I love it. And this is my own personal selfishness. I have a friend who suffers from migraines. So I know how debilitating that is and how excruciating and those moments can be in someone's life. So for you to find answers and solutions to that would be such an inspiration for you to continue down that path, knowing the difference it made for you in your own life, and then sparking that calling, that purpose and passion to serve others. So I just really commend you for your courage to keep on keeping on, to stay open and curious, to find those answers, because this is what I find interesting about love-inspired leadership. It's usually from those pivotal points in time where we can't find answers and we go within, as well as be bolder and more courageous to find answers and solutions to something that is not coming. So I just find that incredibly inspiring. So thank you for that. And the second piece that I want to spin off what you said is for you to let go to lead, which is one of my principles in my Aim High 6-step system, is a bold move to. I mean, you're moving cities to be there to support your father, and you're letting the past go That is a big, bold, courageous decision, and you're stepping into the unknown. So my question for you is this: how did you come to that decision? Or was it simple to just release your entire history and past to move into something that's completely unknown? I mean, how was that?
That's a hilarious question. Was it simple? Oh my gosh, it was not simple.
I know.
You build your career as you go, right? And you don't take this the wrong way, but you build a power base as you grow, right? Just like you would in business. When you walk in, you come in at a certain respect level. When you leave all that behind to go into a field that makes no sense, right? Leadership, rules, regulations, protocols, energy work, woo-woo stuff, things that people question all the time. What the heck, right? So was it simple? No. Was it an easy decision to leave the other behind and take care of my dad? Absolutely. For me, family's everything, period. End of story, right? That was my bottom line. When you get to your bottom line, that's when it's easy to make a choice.
Beautiful. When you get to your bottom line, that's when it's easy to make a decision. And that's the truth. And I think that having the courage to release the past, and as well as being open and curious what this next path and chapter is going to be, is inspiring. So thank you for your courage. And, every healing path begins with self-awareness. And Jean, your story shows us really how that commitment to family, to courage, to letting go can become a catalyst to find our calling. This is one of my big aspects of love-inspired leadership. It may not be where you are right now, but it's having that open mind and curiosity to follow those paths that have meaning and purpose in your life. So let's explore what keeps you so beautifully aligned as a love-inspired leader. So how does your 3A step process help clients find their new direction and focus in their business?
Well, let me tell you what the steps are first. You have to become aware of where you are. And sometimes people haven't even stopped to think about, well, where am I? What's working and what's not working? Am I where I want to be? Sometimes that is where you want to be. You just need to tweak it, right? But the next part of that is you bring in your awesome focus. Okay? And you ask those questions. Am I where I want to be? Or do I maybe want to go one or two steps further? Or do I want to go in a totally different direction like I did, right? And then once you get laser focused on what it is you want, now you're going to take strategic action to get you from where you are to where you want to be. Just like a GPS, the first thing that when you turn on your GPS, it has to figure out where you're starting from.
That's right.
And then, well, I know I'm going to be in this state. I'm going to be in this city. I'm going to be on this street. I'm going to be on this address. And it's going to take you around the detours in the city. It's going to take you on some streets you've never been to. It's not a straight line because that's not how the roads are built. That's not how our brain works. That's not how the world works. But you're going to go using strategic action from the awareness you have of where you are to where you want to be.
I mean, this is beautiful. You and I are so aligned this way because in my 6-step AIM high system, the first 3 steps, the first one is truth. And that's what the current reality is, telling the truth, telling the deep truth, what's working, what isn't working. The second one is trust, to trust ourselves, to really know that we can. We can. And the third one is the value. So what matters most? It's exactly what you're saying here. It's what matters most, what's most important, and that I can create a vision and intentional action towards the discipline to create that in my life that matters most. And to me, this is the opportunity in life for all of us, whether it's in business, whether it's personally, whether it's with our family, any part of it. We can do this. We got this. And one of the major aspects too, as you know, is to not do it alone. What's your take on just not traveling? I mean, your courage to decide to let your life go. I did the same thing at 30, quit everything, sold my house, went to Europe for 3 months. I did my own Eat, Pray, Love in 1988 before the movie came out. I wanted to know who I was. I didn't. I made lots of money. I was very successful, yet it was empty. There was a gap, that something was missing. And I knew it was because I needed to go on this personal journey to find out what mattered. And I did. So tell me what it was that got you to actually structure this 3-step system. Was it through your own personal journey and the transformation? Has it been through your clients that you serve and seeing the transformation in them?
They always tell you that the more difficult you make something, the more you're going to lose people, right? So I've always in my head tried to be, and this goes back to my training and leadership as well, right? Make things logical, make them sequential, make it make sense, so it's doable. So as I was, the more clients you work with, the more you see patterns,
yes.
Right? And when I talk to people, they don't even know if they like where they are, but they're looking for something or they wouldn't have contacted me, right? So that became the easiest thing. Like, where are you now? Well, I don't know. What would you like it to be? Well, I don't know. Okay, so it's the questioning, right? So the 3 steps came from the clients. Yeah. That really is it. I kept repeating the same things over and over. And eventually it's like, duh.
Exactly. And, the injustice, I think, in life and people's trajectory of their lives is that we have this extraordinary life to live and such a glorious opportunity to live our best life. And the suffering and the injustice to me is that people are stuck. They don't even know what they don't know. They don't even know that they don't know what they don't know. So I know that is a mouthful, yet it's the truth. And when people decide that they want to change something, that is the time to reach out to someone that you are called to speak to, that you are, that internal voice of wisdom is saying, I think this person might be able to support me and guide me and help me because, there's just, I find it such an injustice for people to suffer and be stuck in their lives. And I love the fact that you took a corporate, structured, in your head, practical wisdom from all those years and have bridged it into a opportunity for people to change their lives. Truly, I just think it's glorious. So here's my next question. Are there foundational rituals? This is one of my favorite questions because I have mine. Are there foundational rituals that you return to when working within these stuck patterns that people have or that you have within yourself? I mean, I want the audience to realize Jean is still an evolution and a rising up and aiming higher within her own life as I am. There's nobody that has, has everything completely dialed in. We're on this journey together. So what are some of the rituals that you rely on?
I'm going to say I go back to some of the foundational teachers that I respect. There is you're probably familiar with EFT, tapping, emotional freedom technique.
Yeah.
I was introduced to that when Gary Craig was first traveling around the country doing weekend seminars, and I would go to his seminars. And so I met some of the foundational leaders right there who were on the ground learning with him. And so when one in particular, any training she does, I'm there. Even if she's given it before and I've been before, I'm there, right? Same thing with some of the others. I caution people sometimes, don't fall into the I need more certification before I can do anything trap, right? But sometimes refreshers give you a new way of looking at something, or, I could help my client with this technique, right? Or I could shift my thought process and apply this to that. So, and again, that goes back to my training in my previous world, right?
Right.
But it's these rituals of finding clarity, and that speaks to something you were talking about before with my clients. The helping them become clear, I think, is one of the greatest services that I can provide.
And
because it's all their choice. They can stay exactly where they are. Yes. They can choose to go down path A to the left, or path B in the center, or path C on the right. And none of those are mine to say which is right or wrong. No. It's just to open their awareness to let them decide.
It's the concept of realizing that we have this opportunity to have an acute level of self-awareness in our lives. And what I believe is a true blessing into understanding ourselves. And sometimes we can do it on our own, and other times we can't. And to me, my commitment, my ritual is, if I'm ever stuck, if I'm ever not moving forward in this space for grace and lifelong learning and process of evolving and aiming higher, that's when I reach out. That's when I ask for support. And I think it's a really wise decision too. So thank you for that. And my last question will be this. So what legacy or ripple, Jean, is a beacon for all of us? What would be the legacy, that your living legacy, that you are shining into the world right now?
Wow, that's a big question. My underlying theme is always to help people take back their personal power, to heal, to lead, to grow, to live their best life, to travel where they want to travel, to have the business they want, to have the family they want, to make the choices they want. Because in the choice comes power. You either take it yourself or you give it away to somebody else, which doesn't serve anyone.
So beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we all have the power of choice every single moment. And I'm just going to add to that each of us can understand in our lives that everything that happens to us is for us, to guide us, to direct us to the next step within our lives. So having that acceptance, trust, and appreciation for it all, the hardships, the good, the traumatic, the challenging, the wins, the celebrations. So, Jean, thank you. Thank you for just being this bold, courageous, committed woman to serve from your highest self to the individuals that you make a difference in every day within your own podcast, within your own services. So I thank you for coming on my podcast today and sharing that wisdom and truth. And I just want to let the audience know that I have a gift for them. It's my 21-day above the line living. It's an opportunity to learn about yourself, to reflect. There's journal prompts every day, and audio recording will be dropped into your email box. And Jean, your gift will be included in the show notes as well. Do you want to share with the audience what your gift is too?
Sure. We talked a bit about beliefs, okay, in a roundabout way. Sometimes our subconscious doesn't necessarily believe the things that we think are true. One way to determine what your subconscious really, how it's supporting you, is through something called muscle testing, where it's a crazy thing, but our bodies have a tendency to lean in towards something that it finds good and lean away from something it finds to be not in our best interest. So there's a very simple technique called muscle testing that you can use to explore your beliefs, which is a crazy thing, but trust me, it works.
It does.
The better you get at it, the more you can use it for other things, such as testing supplements, testing food before you eat it. Does my body really want this, or is it going to cause some negativity or whatever? But I created a PDF. You can just follow along and teach yourself a little bit about muscle testing. And it's just jeanborder.com/muscle.
Well, and there's all these beautiful, incredible tools that we can use. And that is one of them. Thank you for your contribution. And I look forward to the adventure of us continuing this relationship. I love what you're about and what you do. So I just want to say this week to my listeners, how will you honor your own energy, letting go of what weighs you down so you can show up with more courage, clarity, and love in your leadership? Thank you, Jean. Thank you for joining me on the Love Inspired Leadership podcast. If today's episode stirred something in your soul, share it with someone who's ready to aim higher. Keep holding your vision, anchor in your truth, and take intentional, inspired action, because love is all there is.
Hey, I'm Michelle Abraham, founder of the High Vibe Podcast Network, and we are honored to have Carolyn Cooper's Love Inspired Leadership show as part of our network family. For more inspiring shows like this one, visit highvibepodcastnetwork.com, and don't forget to grab your free gifts from our hosts in the gift fold. Till then, stay high vibe and keep sharing your life.